Let's see. All right, 5 o'clock, let's get started. Welcome to Introducing Metro-Style Device Apps. My name is Eugene Lin. I am a Principal Program Manager lead at Microsoft. I work in the Devices and Networking Experiences team. There are a number of my colleagues here in the audience who will help answer questions afterwards. I do hope to leave time to answer some questions, so let me know if I'm going too fast. I do want to make sure I can address some questions before the party tonight. My team builds a number of experiences in Windows to do with devices. We also were responsible for the control panel that you've seen, the Metro-style control panel in many demos. So in this talk, let's just move on without any ado. One of the key aspects of Windows 8 is that it enables device makers like you to differentiate with Metro-style apps. In this talk, I will share some of our thoughts that led us to Metro-style device apps. I'll describe what I mean when I say Metro-style device app. I'll show how you can extend built-in experiences with your device app. I'll address some of the questions you may have after seeing the first part of this talk on what happened to device stage. And I'll share some hints on what makes a good device app. By the end of the talk, you'll have a good understanding of how a Metro-style device app can really make your device great with Windows 8. And you'll understand how Metro-style apps can extend the built-in experience, or built-in experiences in Windows. So we'll start. I wanted to share some background on how we landed on the design for Metro-style device apps. Understanding this will help you better design your solutions to fit within the Windows 8 design language. A trend that we've seen over the past few years is that device makers are using software to differentiate their devices. They are connecting their devices to apps and to services in interesting new ways. We've seen a number of new categories emerge. We've seen functionality in devices like printers grow. And so this is a trend that we've been watching for a while and been updating Windows to address this. If I take a look at the printer in my office, it comes with the software. This software lets me do more. It's more than just a printer driver. It lets me do things like scan documents and manage the content that I get. It lets me get to the storage on my device. It lets me get to useful information about configuring my device. It lets me discover new things I can do with it. It really is part of the product. The LifeCam camera that I have on my laptop here comes with software for Windows 7. And that software lets you do some really interesting things. I'll show you what the LifeCam team has done for us with a Windows 8 Metro-style app that they've created in a later demo. More interestingly, even my bathroom scale at home comes with an app. Normally, you'd think of a scale as something that just tells you, how heavy you are. But with the application together, my scale tells me really useful things. I can look back 3 weeks from now and see that I ate way too much at this conference, for example. Now, we spent a lot of time, I've been 15 years at Microsoft, talking with device makers like all of you. And there are a number of things that we wanted to address going into Windows 8. We heard from device makers that they really want help getting their apps installed. Today, you walk into a store, you buy a device, typically it'll come with a CD or a DVD. Maybe there'll be a piece of paper there begging you to go to a website and install something first. But this is something that we really want to help all of you with. We also heard that you want more control over your branding and how your product is shown in Windows. You want something more than just customizing an icon. For those of you who've adopted device stage, we've heard that you want it to be easier to find, that asking a user to go into the device's place in Windows doesn't show your product as prominently as you would like. And finally, better development tools. We always want better development tools. You guys are no exception. So early in planning, we took a look and said, all right, well, ideally, what would we try to do here? In terms of getting apps installed, ideally, we would just make it completely automatic. We wouldn't even have to remind people or help them install apps because they would just get installed. In terms of branding, ideal is just let you guys control everything on the screen. In terms of making device stage easy to find, we said, well, ideally it would be as easy to find as anything else on your system. It should be as easy to find as your browser. And in terms of development tools, I love Visual Studio. It would be great if you could use Visual Studio to build your device experiences on Windows. And as we looked at all of this, we said, you know, a lot of this seems like the same problems we were trying to address with the Metro-style app model. And in fact, Metro-style apps provide the flexibility, the discoverability, and the ease of development that our partners, both device partners and software partners, have been looking for. Now, you may notice there that I got away with something, which is I did not address making it helping users install their apps. So let's talk about what I mean by a Metro-style device app and how that's different than a regular Metro-style app. So in a nutshell, when you design an app to go with your device, Windows 8 will automatically install it. This is the key point in this talk. This is the thing to walk away with. You design an app, Windows 8 will automatically install it. All right, one strike against me so far. So let's take a look at what this actually looks like. What I'm going to show you here is one of my colleagues, actually Ami back in Redmond. She's actually helped design this feature. On her PC, what we're looking at is her start screen. Now, take a look on the right side of the start screen here. Typically, users won't even notice this happens. But what we're going to look at is when she plugs an HP printer into her PC, let's see what happens. So we're sitting on the start screen. We're anxiously waiting for all kinds of fireworks. Oh, look, the HP app appeared. It's that simple. There really isn't much more to it. The app automatically installs, and like I said, it just automatically installs. So what happened? Windows 8 sensed the HP printer. We got the right drivers from Windows Update. We got the right metadata from the Windows Metadata and Internet Services. How many of you are familiar with the Windows Metadata and Internet Services, or WMIS? Okay, so brief answer. When you put a CD into Windows, if you're old enough to remember what a CD is, when you put a CD into a PC, Windows finds a bunch of album art for that CD. That magic service that we have in the internet is something that we also use to get information about every device you connect to a Windows PC. So Windows automatically finds information about that printer, and that part of that information said, HP has an app in the Windows Store that goes with that device. And so Windows automatically installed it. The interesting thing is what you didn't see. Setup really is now so easy, it is invisible. There are no more balloons, there are no more distractions, there are no more prompts. The user didn't have to go through any kind of wizard. I didn't have to click through anything or any kind of warnings. It just worked. And our goal here with Windows 8 is that all of your devices work. It's not about making setup easy. It's about your devices already work. You don't even go through a process to make them work. In the Metro-style design language, apps are at the center. Your system is nothing without apps, and that applies to devices too. The applications are the things that really come out and expose all of your features, all of your value to your users. When you connect a device, Windows 8 installs its app. The app appears in Start like any other app. It is an app. And the app can also integrate with built-in experiences to show up in Windows in the places where users would expect it to be. And I'll show some of those. So some of you may be asking about device stage. Now, in Windows 7, as we saw people writing applications that came with devices, we wanted to find a way to make it easier for users to get to those apps. Our customers also told us they wanted to know what they could do with the device. You know, something like plugging in a mouse is pretty clear, but if I plug in something like a phone into a PC, there are a lot of things I could do. We created device stage in Windows 7 as effectively a home page for the device. Partners could customize links and customize some branding on device stage so that a customer could see what they could do with their device. In Windows 8, we've extended the device stage system to automatically install Metro-style device apps. In Windows 7, we built the device stage system to automatically detect devices and get all the software you needed for them. That system would show the devices in the Devices and Printers folder with customized icons, with rich names that matched your marketing. And we would also customize the device stage window so that a user could see a home page for the device that provided links to the web, links to applications to go install, and links to other helpful things like built-in applications. In Windows 8, we've taken it further, and we use the same system to install a Metro-style device app that you specify. That application, in turn, can use app contracts to extend built-in experiences so that your app is exposed to more users in more places. And finally, for the devices that have specialized drivers, the device stage system allows you to specify privileged interfaces or restricted interfaces that so that you have control over which apps can talk to your device. So let's look at how we've evolved this. In Windows 7, we enabled rich device experiences for common device types. Device stage supported classes like printers and cameras. In Windows 8, we enable rich device experiences for all device types. All devices are eligible to have Metro-style device apps. It is up to you whether you create those apps and what those apps do. With Windows 7, you could customize the look and feel of the home page for your device in device stage. With Windows 8, you can customize every pixel with your Metro-style device app. With Windows 7, you could link to your app on the web from device stage. In Windows 8, we've taken that further to automatically install your app when your device is connected. Finally, in Windows 7, your customers found your experience in the Devices and Printers folder so that customers who wanted to see their devices could see them and get to the device stage experience for your device. In Windows 8, your experience, your Metro-style device app, lives in Start, and it also is available through app contracts, which I promise I will get to. Let's take a look at how some of these built-in experiences can be extended with Metro-style device apps. Metro-style device apps can extend built-in experiences in a natural way. What I mean by natural is, you could imagine that I'm in a paint program and I want to print something out. It would be, and I didn't want to use up all my color ink. It would be awkward for me to leave the paint program, go into the printer's app, change my settings, and then go back to the paint program and print. Customers expect that in the middle of printing, I can do what I want to do. I can go change whatever settings go with that printer, but all of you would like a way to make sure that as a printer maker, you can provide the settings that you want, and you can provide the experience you want. So for those of you who didn't see Robin's talk earlier, Windows 8 includes a number of built-in experiences that allow any Metro-style app to take advantage of a variety of devices without needing any knowledge about the device. For example, a Metro-style app can easily send documents to connected printers, whether they're connected physically or over wireless or over the network, by simply using the built-in print experience in Windows. Windows also provides access to things like connected media receivers. An application that has video content, for example, can easily send content out to a connected TV without any knowledge about the TV or the variety of TVs that are out there. And there are a number of other experiences here as well. Now, from these experiences, partners can extend a number of them. For example, if you're a printmaker, your Metro-style app that goes with your printer can extend the built-in print experience so that you can expose, for example, common settings. If you build a camera, whether it's a built-in webcam or an external one, you can provide custom camera options that plug right into the built-in capture experience. If you are a mobile broadband provider, you can actually connect in so that applications are aware of the cost of the data network they're on. And if you have a device that can receive content or transform content in some interesting way, you can connect through the share contract and actually extend your device out to any Metro-style app that supports share. And finally, autoplay. Well, I'll get to autoplay in another, my second demo will be autoplay. So now I'm going to show you what I mean when I say extending the built-in experience. So here, next I'm going to be showing you how the LifeCam team has used their Metro-style app to extend the built-in capture experience. The capture experience is available to any Metro-style app. In this case, I'm showing our very own control panel, which is using the same built-in experience. So let's say I've decided that my user profile picture is a little stuffy. You know, I don't see a lot of tuxedos in here. This doesn't seem like that kind of gig. So I'm going to go into the control panel to change that. So I choose webcam, and what webcam does is it brings up the built-in camera experience. Any Metro-style app that wants to get an image or video from a camera can do it with 1 or 2 lines of code. So, this looks a little bright, and so I'm going to go into settings. And you can see that the settings pane, Windows has built in some very simple basic options that all cameras can support. But I'm going to choose more options. And what you'll see is that the more options pane is, embarrassingly, white. Let's try that one again. We're going to come in here and go into more options. Wow. All right. We will play some music and think happy thoughts while I switch back. Kill that and try that again. Again, promise to all of you, this worked perfectly about 50 times over the last 24 hours. Yes, so let's try this again. We're going to unplug that camera just to be sure. If anyone here is from the LifeCam team, I still appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, that's really a shame. Anyway, we'll try to get back to that one later. What you would have seen is that, actually I can show you that screen. What you would have seen is that when I choose more options, the app that came with this LifeCam actually gets to render whatever it wants in that window. Currently, it seems to want to render a lot of white pixels. I would have made a different choice. But what that would let you do is change custom options. For those of you who saw, Jensen's talk, for those of you who saw Julie's demo, you may have seen some of this. But we'll get back to that later. And so because the LifeCam app was able to customize the camera experience, any Metro app that uses the camera, the built-in camera experience, gets the benefit of the LifeCam team's work. And that means that instead of convincing their users that they need to run the LifeCam app, their users just use the camera as if they would use any other camera. And they think to themselves, wow, this LifeCam thing's really great because it lets me do some cool stuff. Next, I'm going to talk about autoplay. For portable devices, Windows 8 provides quick access to the right tasks when the device is connected. Portable devices are devices that are connected to a PC pretty much only when you want to do something with them. For example, when I connect a digital camera to my PC, sorry, I'm too old. When I connect a camera to my PC, then generally I want to do something with it. When I connect a thumb drive to my PC, I generally want to do something with it. But for example, when I just turn my PC on at home and it connects to my printer, it would be odd if at that moment Windows interrupted me and said, I think you want to print because I just discovered a printer. So for autoplay, we actually talked to a lot of users about this. One of the things that our users told us, thank you. Oh, thanks. LifeCam demo coming soon. So one of the things our users told us about autoplay is that they really like the fact that Windows gives them, right at their fingertips, the things they can do with the device. But they also like having choice. Many of us have our favorite photo management app, and we wouldn't want anybody, Microsoft or anyone else, to override that with another choice. People also told us that they like having a recommendation, that if they do have a list of, wow, here's the 20 applications that can manage photos, they want to have a recommendation, and they actually want a recommendation from you, the people who made the device. They trust you to recommend to them what they should do. And so in Windows 8, we allow the Metro-style app for a device to be shown as the recommended app for that device in autoplay. And as the maker of the device, you are in full control over which app gets shown as the recommended choice for the user. Once the user makes that choice, Windows will respect that. So let's go back to the demo machine that I'm now mildly dreading and see how this works. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this phone. This is a Windows-compatible phone. We've had it now for at least a year in the office. And I'm going to plug it into Windows. And what you'll see when I connect it to Windows is that I get a little toast. Now, what's interesting about this toast is we have a lot of data about how users are using Windows 7. And what we saw was that in autoplay, for example, when someone connects a thumb drive, about 50% of users decide that they just want to open Windows Explorer to look at the drive. And about 49.9% of users decide they didn't want that dialog to open, and they close it without doing anything. And so with the toast, we've got the best of both worlds. I can choose to ignore the toast, and it'll just go away. I can keep doing my work. Or I can click the toast and see a set of applications. You'll notice here that the Pass to Phone app, which is an app that we created for testing, the Pass to Phone app is now shown as the recommendation from the manufacturer. So that a customer who says, oh, I don't know what this phone can do, will say, oh, okay, well, they're suggesting I use this one. That seems good. But we also show all of the other options so that anyone who creates a Metro-style app can register against the devices that their app works with. In my case, I'm kind of a geek. I'm going to choose to open it in Windows Explorer, because that's what I do. What you'll see now is that the next time I plug in my device, I've already told Windows what I want it to do. And so Windows simply opens Explorer, gets me to the task I want right away. Really fast, really simple, gets me to the task I want. I don't have to go to Start. I don't have to find the app. I don't have to make the choice again. If I want to change that choice, it's easy for me to do it. I can do it the slow way, which is by going to Start and realizing my keyboard isn't working for some reason. Well, I can either go to the autoplay control panel to change my settings, but I can do something else, and I want to give you guys this little hint, because I didn't know this before. What I can do is I can actually change, oh, wow. I'm going to demo another thing I'm not supposed to be demoing, which is restarting Explorer. So another way for me to change my autoplay settings is that if I want to change the default, I don't want to have Explorer opening every time I plug in my phone. Then what I can do is I can hold down Shift, and as I plug it in, Windows will ask me again what I want to do. So this is actually a cool trick that we've had in there since Windows 7, actually. So if you find this useful, then that'd be great. So that is autoplay and how you can extend that. You, as a device maker, can choose which app gets recommended to a user when your device is connected. Windows 8 will preserve their choice and respect that. The other thing to note is, because we're automatically installing the app that you specify, and you may say that that is the recommended app, you may wonder, well, what does autoplay do if the app isn't even there yet? Autoplay will immediately show the user your app as the recommendation, even if your app is still in the process of being installed. If a user chooses your app before Windows finishes installing it, we will show them some progress and then launch the app as soon as it's done. Again, we wanted to make this as seamless as possible for users so that they can get into your experience as soon as they can with minimal effort. Next, I'll show Share. Metro apps can share with devices via the Share charm. You probably saw the Share charm in Jensen's big picture talk. He demonstrated how a Metro-style app can work together with another app to complete a scenario. For example, in his case, sharing information through Twitter. Metro-style apps for devices can also implement the Share contract so that I can take content from any Metro-style app and send it to your device. I'm going to show a demo here of how this works. Now, what's important about the Share charm is that it gives your device and your device app a lot of exposure in Windows. We expect that almost every Metro-style app will support Share in some way to take content within the app and share it through another app. And so if you have a device that can store content, can display content, or can transform content in some interesting way, then you should implement the Share target so that your app and your device plugs into all those experiences. Let's take a look at how that works. Here I'm going to go into PaintPlay, which is another simple app that our interns did over the summer. And I'm going to draw a really beautiful, complex picture. I'm going to draw a big smiley face. And I've decided that I really like this, and I would love to have that as a homepage image on my phone. So what I can do is I can simply go into the Share charm, and Share shows me all of the apps that can take this content and share it in some way. You'll notice that the Pass to Phone app, the one that was recommended by the manufacturer, is now shown here because it can be a Share target. I choose the Pass to Phone app. You have got to be kidding me. I choose the Pass to Phone app, and nothing happens. Once again, let's take a look at how great Task Manager is. Task Manager lets me easily find the Paint Play app and end it. Then I can quickly go back to Start and in a fast and fluid way launch Paint Play again. Or not. All right, we're going to try something different. Although apparently, wow. I'm going to throw out some guesses as to what's happening. One is, this computer may be unhappy with the switch box I hooked it up to. The other is, I maybe shouldn't have been using this computer earlier today to trade stocks. Okay, let's try this again. Wow, this really isn't doing anything. I'm not even running HDMI right now. This is... All right, well, that's a shame. So what I was going to show was that I could take the Paint Play app and I could send information, share it through the Pass2Phone app, and the content would appear on the phone. And what's interesting about that is that even though the Paint Play app knows nothing about phones, much less this particular model, and even though the person who wrote the phone app knows nothing about Paint Play or anything about all the Metro apps that are going to be written, those two apps can talk to each other. And from a customer's perspective, they think, oh, that's really great. I can take anything in any app and send it to this phone. This is a great phone. And so this is your opportunity to make your device even greater when connected to a Windows 8 PC by connecting into all of the other Metro-style apps that will be built after this conference. So I'm going to try connecting up this other machine to show you the LifeCam demo. Hey, AV people, can you point me at the HDMI? Oh, hey, maybe this is it. I'm going to try connecting this thing to HDMI and see if I can make that work. Tablet. Okay. Oh, maybe that's the wrong thing. All right, now we're just going to try to find, huh? Oh, that's a good point. This one actually doesn't seem to be working very much either, unfortunately. All right, while Darren tries to save my demo, I'm going to continue with the presentation. Developer preview, guys, developer preview. We are giving you as early access to this as possible. So, like I said, your application, like any Metro-style app, can support being a share target, so that if your device can accept content, you can plug into the share contract, and your device and your app will appear for any app when the user chooses the share charm. Very powerful. Next, I'm going to share a few hints on what makes a good device app. Now, this is the part where generally partners start to wince. You start to brace yourselves because you think, oh no, this is when Eugene's going to tell me all the requirements I have to meet, all of the rules I have to follow. Well, they're actually, that's not what I'm going to do. We heard a couple things from our customers, and I think you've probably heard the same things. People want their stuff to work. They want basic functionality to work for their devices, and they just want it to be automatic. Just do whatever you have to do to make this device work. People also told us a lot that they wanted to be easy to keep apps up to date. They didn't like the idea that there were all these updaters running in the background all the time. And so the Metro-style apps address this by actually making apps update super easy through the App Store. And we've addressed that with our Metro-style device app model by automatically installing your app. And this automatic installation means that all your customers will get your app. This is really your chance to impress them. No longer does a customer have to find your CD. No longer do they have to follow a special poster of instructions or go up to a website and click through a bunch of warnings. They connect your device, whether it's over wireless, whether it's over the network, or whether it's through a USB or other physical connection, and your application is just there on the machine. The only thing you need to tell them is connect the device and go run my app, and it'll just be there. Because your app will automatically show up on people's PCs, this is really something that customers will see that app as representing your product. It's a way to represent your brand the way you want, It's a way to give your customers the experience that you want them to have. We've given you every pixel on the screen from the upper left corner to the lower right, and we've given them no reason to have any problem getting your device set up. And so it's really your chance. There's no other rules here. Do what you want. This is your product to design. We've tried to do everything we can to give you the opportunity to make your product shine on Windows 8. So let me recap. Windows 8 enables you to differentiate with Metro-style apps for your device. When you design an app to go with your device, Windows 8 will automatically install it. And I showed you how automatic really means automatic. No balloons, no warnings, no progress. It just happens. Metro-style apps can extend built-in experiences in a natural way. And by natural, I mean much more smoothly than the demos went here. Very naturally. With Metro-style device apps, your code gets into your customer's hands automatically. You own all the pixels. You can customize whatever you want. You can naturally integrate with built-in Windows experiences so that your device and your app come in front of the user when it makes the most sense to them. And you have all the power of Visual Studio. All the great stuff that Les showed yesterday is all available to you as you're creating your Metro-style device app. So no longer is the development world of devices separate and different than the development world of any other app. So obviously, in case you haven't noticed, please consider creating a Metro-style app for your device. We've done what we can to provide a great opportunity here. The Windows 8 Metro interface is a bold new step. And we've gone with that by saying we're just going to move ahead and take installation ease to its ultimate, which is there is no more setup anymore. There are a number of other sessions here. In particular, I really want to highlight that tomorrow, my colleague Max will be talking about building and delivering a great Metro-style app for your device. In that talk, Max will get into how you specify the Metro-style app, how you specify information to the device stage system, and so forth. So it's very key to go to if you are at all building a device, you want to go to this talk. We have a number of other talks that are more specific. If you're building a printer, then my colleague Mark will be doing a talk on Friday about how to design a Metro-style app that extends the printer experience. If you're building a camera, whether it's a built-in webcam or an external one like this LifeCam, then you'll want to go to KZ's talk tomorrow. If you are a carrier, if you're a mobile broadband carrier, then you'll want to go see Samer's talk about how your Metro-style app can extend the Windows networking experience. If you have a device that can accept content or transform it in some way, you'll definitely want to see Billy Sue's talk on share and how to implement the share contract in your app. Again, that's tomorrow. If you have a device that gets connected to Windows when someone wants to use it, you'll want to see Anshul talk about file type associations and autoplay. And finally, if you're building an app that actually talks to a device through a custom driver, if you have a device that's generally in a sort of uncommon category, then you'll want to see my colleague George's talk. And that's tomorrow, right, George? You'll want to see George's talk tomorrow. Oh, or if you're building a WPD device, George is also your man. Thank you. There's some other information on the web that you can also see. And also, please remember to go fill out the speaker feedback form. Your feedback is the kind of thing that helps us improve the conference and also gives people like me an opportunity to come share some of my work. So I'm going to leave this up so you guys can copy it down if you want. And I've also got some time for questions. It looks like we've got got a couple extra minutes here. Actually, a lot of extra minutes. So for those of you who want to go to go get ready for the party and all that, feel free. But I'll take a couple questions here on camera and on mic, and then I'll be around afterwards. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Oh. All right. Darren says, we may excitingly be able to show the LifeCam demo. So we're going to take the HDMI, and we're going to plug it in. Yep. Okay, and then AV people, duplicate. So which is the number I hit to show the HDMI? It's the pad. There's one labeled tab, which is not doing anything, and there's one labeled dock, which is not doing anything. Yeah, how do I get this thing to show? This one? It's not doing it. All right, can we get the lights up in here? I'd like to take some questions. All right. These guys will continue working on it. Hopefully we'll have something. Is there a way to turn on the lights? Oh, thank you. All right, so I'll take a question here at the mic.
The Metro application has to provide a full screen view of itself and then views for snapped and flipped modes. Is the device app situation analogous, that when you're in some other application and you want to print or use the camera, then that extra settings panel that gets shown is just another view that it provides?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
So Metro-style apps, think of Metro-style apps as an app that can be invoked in a number of different contexts. And so a Metro-style app for a printer, for example, may be invoked in a mode where Windows says, hey, you are being invoked within the print experience. And so do whatever you think is appropriate for this experience, and that'll be a small pane that you saw. Yeah, other question?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, all right, let's take a look at the LifeCam. So in this case, I want to change my user tile because I'm actually not this beautiful woman. So I want to go change that. So I'm going to, I prefer to think of it as a career counselor, supporter. So I'm going to choose webcam here, and you can see the webcam is really having a lot of trouble with light. So I'm going to select the settings, go to more options, and what you can see is that I get, seriously, wow, I should have been recording my face. Okay, so I go to more options, and I don't see anything. It's this thumb somehow. All right, let's go back to questions, shall we? Huh?
It's available at the LifeCam booth in the expo.
Oh, if you go to the expo, to the LifeCam booth, you will be able to see the demo without all of the projector stuff interfering with it.
You can also do it here.
Yeah, basically you can see it on any machine. So, all right, a question here.
So we're going to continue delivering device experiences through Windows 8.
Oh, great question. That was an
assumption
what
and the question. So the question is, if that's true, are there any changes to the Win 8 device experience from what we were delivering in Win 7?
Ah, okay. So good question. So the question was, we're going to be delivering Windows device stage for Windows 8 as well, and are there any changes in that experience? So if I go back to the part where I talk about device stage, then what you'll see is that although we've extended the device stage system to cover Metro-style apps, we continue to support devices and printers and device stage because we think that those are good experiences in the desktop, and they'll continue to be available to users exactly as they are today.
How easy to use that kind of find the device stage in the desktop?
Okay, so the question is, how easily can a user find device stage in the desktop? The way they find device stage in the desktop is very similar to the way you find it in Windows 7. So in Windows 7, you could find device stage by going to the devices and printers folder. The devices and printers folder continues to be there. If a user searches for it in Start, they'll find it through a number of keywords. If a user goes to the control panel and navigates to devices and printers folder, they'll find it there. And if the user is in the desktop, when they connect a device that is a portable device, device stage will appear on the taskbar. And so we really haven't changed anything about the way device stage works, but we didn't want to try and take something that was really designed for the desktop and try and mutate it to do something in the Metro environment. Any other questions? Oh, yeah. Hey, sorry. I didn't see the other mic under the spotlight. Go ahead.
Can we deliver an API as part of the package for the hardware that would get subsequently used by other applications?
So the question is, can you deliver an API as part of the package to be used by other apps? Actually, I would suggest that you have a chat with George over here. Can you raise your hand, George? Yeah, he can tell you everything you want to know about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Next question?
Are the device apps, can they be used to deliver value-added utilities on top of inbox drivers, or just
good question. So can a device app be used to deliver value-added stuff on top of inbox drivers? Yes, it can. Windows 8 retrieving a device app for a device is completely independent of the drivers. And so once we find the driver, once we find the metadata, we will go get the app, whether your device uses built-in drivers or whether your device uses custom drivers that you've written. Question over here?
Yeah, what is the experience for an unconnected Windows 8 PC?
Oh, what's the experience for an unconnected one? Namely,
Is
one
the
that's not on
Metro
the...
style app delivered next time they connect
Right,
to
that's
the
one that's not on the
cloud?
internet. What if I'm disconnected?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a great question. So what we wanted to do with users is we wanted to make it as easy as possible to get the device working. And what that means is that Windows 8 not only automatically installs the app, but it makes sure that the device is working and up to date over time. And so if you connect a device when you're not connected to the internet, then Windows 8 will in fact remember this. And as soon as you connect to the internet, we will go get the app. And so the message to customers is, if you're not online, a lot of customers understand the fact that if they're not online, they can't connect to Facebook. And when they connect online, they will. And so there are things like that that we wanted to make really simple. And most users expected that, well, once I connect the internet, stuff gets better. And so that's how we do it.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Sure.
Will we be able to, will we be able to distribute a Metro-style device app on a CD?
Oh, all right. So Metro-style apps in general, this isn't about Metro-style device apps. Metro-style apps are all distributed through the Windows Store.
So the answer is no.
The answer is no. Yeah. Now again, for development purposes, the answer may be different. You may want to check with the store team, but in terms of end customers, the store is the way you get Metro-style apps.
So, question about the installation of in the delivery of the app. So, when the app gets to the machine, do we have control about when it's going to show up, or can it remain silent and show up only when it's relevant for the device? Like background monitoring of something, and then tell the user about.
The Metro-style app that gets installed when your device is connected, and once an app shows up on the start screen, it will stay on the start screen. You know, it's something that we looked at of, if I disconnect the device, can an app go away? If I have an app that's always online, should it go away when I'm not connected? And what we saw from running this through a number of tests with users is that if users saw their start screen as something where things kept disappearing and shifting around, they found that very disconcerting. And we also found that most apps that are in a less functional state, for example, I have a stock app that may still want to do something when it's not connected to the internet, even if all it's doing is telling me, please connect to the internet now. And so once your Metro-style app is installed, then that app is always available to users, and it's up to you what that app should do if your device is not connected or in a state where it can't do everything.
But can the app be notified when the device is connected and do something in the background?
Yes, your app can receive notifications when the device is connected. In terms of doing things in the background, there's actually a talk, I think it hasn't happened yet, there's a talk around PLM, Process Lifetime Management, that describes in detail, in general, how Metro-style apps deal with background processing. Okay. Sure, gentleman over here. Oh, you.
I've got a related question. What happens with a share contract where you've installed the device app, but the device is not present?
It's a very similar answer to what we just discussed. In the share contract, because we are instantiating your app, it is entirely up to your app what to present to a user. And so, for example, let's say that your app, you've written an app for a phone, and the phone is off. Then your app may say to the user at that point, we can't detect a phone. Is it on? Do you want to plug it in? But we wanted to leave that up to you. And we wanted to try to get Windows out of the way in the Metro model so that we are not showing what may be esoteric or odd error messages to the user and put it entirely in your control.
So in that case, it would show up in the list. If you went to the share chart, it'd show up on the list. And then the end user would click on it, and then you'd say, then we have to say, sorry, this share doesn't work right.
Exactly.
That's ugly. Because is there any way the app can say, I don't want to share now? Oh, I do want to share now. No, I don't want to share now.
A source application can dynamically say that it has content to share or it doesn't have content to share. For example, if I'm in a browser and if I'm in a photo app and there are no photos in the folder, then the source app can say there's nothing to share, so there's no point in handing any content to the target. But in terms of target applications, when an app registers as a target for share, it can actually decide based on the content that's being submitted whether it is eligible or not. And so in that case, your app does have some control over whether it shows up or not. But I guess my point is that it's not hard-coded to whether your device is there or not. Your app gets to decide whether it is eligible for share.
Every time you hit the share charm, everybody that can share gets to decide whether they want to be on the list.
I'm not 100% sure on the answer, and so I'd suggest that you go to the share talk. Billy Sue is actually going to be talking about that in some more detail, and so you'll see that there. And again, on the share thing, there's nothing in share that is specific to devices. Any Metro-style app can be a share source or a share target. I'm pointing out here that for device makers like you, don't think that share is only about emailing and tweeting. Yeah, other question?
Yeah, what about legacy drivers and Metro-style applications?
What about legacy drivers and Metro-style applications?
Right. I mean, if you have a legacy driver that's not tied to a specific piece of hardware, but yet you need that driver to do something, how does that driver get installed? It can't come from the Windows Store, right?
Yeah, I think, again, this is something that you can discuss with George. He can provide you with more information on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, question here in front, then we'll...
So they have, is it okay to have only one single device stage metadata for both Windows 7 and Windows 8?
Oh, really good question. The question was, is it okay to have one metadata package for both Windows 7 and Windows 8? Yes, in fact, we do support the same metadata package for Windows 7 and Windows 8. Tomorrow, Max in the Circle talk here will be talking about how you do that. We have a set of tools for Windows 8 that allow you to take a Windows 7 metadata package and add what's necessary for Windows 8 to support Metro-style apps without perturbing anything that you've got in your Windows 7 experience. Oh yeah, question back?
Does this fully apply to IP devices just as much as physically connected devices?
Does it apply to IP devices? Yes, as long as your device is visible to plug and play. That is, as long as you're a PNPX device and you have a hardware ID, then it applies to that too. It's any device, no matter how it's connected, as long as Windows can tell it's a device. Looks like that may be it, if I can see past all the... Oh, another question here? I'm surprised that question didn't come sooner. So the question was, can a user uninstall the device app? In designing the system, we wanted to make sure that the user didn't have to understand the notion that device apps are different or special. And so it would be really odd if there was some set of apps you just weren't allowed to uninstall. And so we do allow users to uninstall a device app the same way that they would uninstall any other Metro-style app. If the user wants to go retrieve that, they can easily go to the control panel where they can see all of their devices. And if there's a Metro-style app there, there's a link that will take them to the App Store so that they can go retrieve it like any other application. But do note that once a user has uninstalled an app, Windows will remember that they've uninstalled it so that the next time the device gets plugged in, we won't bother them by installing it again. And so there are two ways a user can do it. They can either go to the store and follow our link and find it, or they can just uninstall the device and reinstall it, and then we'll pull it back down again. Yeah? Oh, the question was if you have two of the same device plugged in. We install Metro-style device apps based on the device model. And so, for example, with this LifeCam, when I plug the LifeCam in, then we'll install the Metro-style app that goes with this camera. But if I plug in a second identical LifeCam, we won't install the same app again. Actually, in the Metro model, you can't install the same app twice side by side. And so the app would only appear once. And it would be up to the app to decide how to expose the fact that now there are two cameras. Typically, the app would then offer the user a choice of choosing. All right, Elliot, another question?
Device apps show up in the store? Are they mixed with the other apps, or are they show in a different section?
Oh, good question. So the question is, where do device apps show up in the store? That's actually something that I can't answer right now. We're still looking at that. One of the things we wanted to do is make sure that a user who's looking for an app in the store can find it. At the same time, we're very conscious of the fact that, with the tens of thousands of different device models out there, we don't want a user who just goes into the store to find like Angry Birds, sees like 20,000 printer apps. And so we're still looking at how we do that, but they're not going to be hidden in any way within the store. We're looking at how to do the categorization in a way so that people who are looking for them can find them, and people who aren't looking for them aren't wading through a lot of device apps that don't apply to them.
Actually, hiding them would be an option that could be useful so that we make sure that only people who have the hardware get the app and run into some weird scenarios.
Yeah, I think it's very unlikely we will do that. We'll hide them, only because for some apps, one of the purposes of the app is to show a user how to connect it to the PC. And so a user may decide, like for some devices, we've seen that you go get the app because the app then explains to you, like, here's how you turn on the device, here's where you plug it in, et cetera. And so we wanted to try and keep the differences as minimal as possible. The only difference between a device app and a regular app is that the device app appears because you plugged in the device or you connected it over the network.
Okay.
Right, sure. All right, well, if that's it, really cool party tonight. Looking forward to seeing you guys there. Feel free to come up and ask us questions, but thanks again and enjoy the rest of the week.